shit. Hey there, hi there, everybody. My name is Jamie, and I can play guitar. Today, we are doing what we usually do. We apologize for missing yesterday, but today is June 16th, 2023. We are going to watch some videos together. You can catch these videos down in the description below. It's a smorgasbord of stuff that I'm interested in watching, and hopefully y'all will come along with me. We may comment on the videos. You can watch them privately down below if you're not interested in commentary or us playing guitar or bass underneath them. If you have any questions or comments and you want to join the conversation, just subscribe so you can be notified and hit that bell icon so you can get an email when we go live and you can join us. We typically go live in the mornings, but sometimes we go live sporadically throughout the day. If you look back, we have been trying to stream every single day here on YouTube, so welcome to the broadcast. We were just watching something from a channel we adore called That's Good Sports. What's up, man? If you stumble upon this, Bills fans over there, we like it. I mean, they're definitely Denver. I don't know if you can call anyone a fan right now, but Denver people. But we're gonna watch our smorgasbord here of videos. We got HEB, Why They're Successful by Company Man kicking it off, and actually, strike that. We're going to start it off with First Thought, their latest video for June 16th, 2023. It's a 5-minute and 40-second news video. Let's check it out.
The elderly are sacrificed for profit. In today's biased news, the elderly are sacrificed for profits. The U.S. flexes nuclear muscle towards North Korea, and a show of solidarity in the film industry. We're trying to work people to death again, this time by raising the retirement age. This has understandably sparked global protest against such measures, one notable example being the riots in France. In 2018, for the first time, people in the so-called developed world over the age of 65 outnumbered those under 5, reducing hopes of continued economic growth in these aging economies. Attempts to resolve this new contradiction of capitalism have converged around forcing the elderly into a longer work life. This presents many issues, as working-age populations, meaning 25 to 64 years old, produce more than they consume.
The biggest issue is it sucks ass.
Commentary on slowing national GDP growth is prefaced with how per capita GDP could potentially remain stable, supposedly better reflecting the well-being of the population. One approach that is suggested is the investment of accumulated wealth in old age, which could yield returns that still grow the economy despite reduced productivity and labor force participation. Other suggestions include retooling industry towards more automation and measures to increase productivity. More sinister is the Japanese example being touted as a success, where the retirement age has been raised to 65 and new laws have been put in place for companies to retain their workforce till the age of 70. Currently, 1 in 4 people older than 65 are still working. One article stated, quote, "To make working conditions better for the older population, Japan provides subsidies to companies to provide facilities such as railings on staircases and extra rest areas for older workers." A demographics field expert commenting on this stated that, quote, "There could be health consequences for raising the retirement age across the board.
Sorry, we're
a
just posting
construction
this on
worker
Instagram.
may
We'll
not
be right
be able
back
to continue working at 70 as much as a person who has a desk job.
Brutal, dog.
According to current research, raising the age at which people can receive pensions forces the elderly to opt for disability insurance as people suffer physical health and mental health consequences. As always, human life and well-being are sacrificed on the altar of profits solely to benefit the smallest sliver at the top, to the detriment of the rest of society. The United States Air National Guardsman who was accused of leaking classified documents earlier this year has just been indicted on 6 separate federal charges, each of which carries a sentence of up to 10 years in prison and fines of up to $250,000 apiece. This should be a reminder to be careful when leaking classified documents on Discord, even though it is very funny.
Oh, Oh, that guy. Okay.
U.S. Secretary of State Blinken is scheduled to visit China, marking the most senior U.S. official visit to the U.S.'s economic rival since 2019. It's stated that the visit aims to improve communications channels, address disagreements, and prevent miscalculations between the two countries. The focus is on managing competition and maintaining open channels of communication while avoiding conflict. The visit follows recent engagements and meetings between top U.S. and Chinese officials. Both sides are exploring the possibility of improving their relationship, though there are still sticking points and low levels of mutual trust. Blinken is expected to discuss issues such as detained Americans, U.S. tariffs, and sanctions, while Beijing will likely raise concerns about confrontational behavior around Taiwan and restrictions on Chinese companies. The outcome of the visit and its impact on U.S.-China relations remains uncertain. A U.S. nuclear-powered submarine, classified as an SSGN, or cruise missile sub, has arrived at a South Korean port.
Sheesh.
This is the first visit of this type of submarine to South Korea in nearly 6 years. The visit is intended as a show of force against the DPRK.
There we go.
And Biden has promised to send a nuclear-armed submarine next, for the first time since the 1980s, marking a dangerous escalation of military posturing in the region.
Posturing.
In Ukraine war news, over 20 soldiers from the Ukrainian Azov Battalion, an openly Nazi elite armed forces group, who were taken prisoner during fighting in Ukraine, have gone on trial in southern Russia and could face up to life in prison. This fate is not shared by all Azov POWs, as Russia controversially traded many of them for their own POWs and other persons of interest last year.
Okay. So
While
maybe not that
opinions
lady.
on the conflict vary, we can all agree that life in prison is too kind a fate for Nazis anywhere in the world.
Yeah,
Bill Gates and Xi Jinping met for a private conversation on Friday, marking Xi's first meeting with a Western businessman in years. While the
he's
U.S. war
looking
machine
rough.
is desperately trying to start a conflict with China, private capital seems to be aware of the changing tides, as Gates is not the first American businessman to visit China in recent months. And in positive news of the day, janitors who lost their jobs in Hollywood as production was stopped due to writers' union protests joined the picket lines outside of Sony Pictures and Amazon Studios yesterday, exemplifying the core values of class solidarity. This is just the latest example of the rising class consciousness around the world. That's all for today. We'll be back day after tomorrow with more news.
Thanks, man.
If you'd like to see episodes with more in-depth analysis,
All right, next up we got having Five Guys. What do we got? The Hogs are standing by. Hassan Abi. Uh-oh. Sounds like my son might have woken up. Go check the camera.
All right, Trump supporters rally outside of the court. They're afraid of him. It's Hogwatch time, baby. Let's go. Let's freaking go.
Hundreds of people gathered outside the Miami courthouse today where Trump pled not guilty. Fox's Griff Jenkins spoke to a few for us to find out why they came out.
I am here to support Mr. Trump because
Nah, he's good. My
So
son's
good.
All right.
Oh, God, I love that.
to it.
Oh, God. That sound is a symphony to my ears, okay? When I hear squealing piggies screeching about Donald Trump being unjustifiably targeted by the government and how the satanic pedophile cabal is after him once again, I'm like, oh, I'm so back. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. It brings, I literally have chills down my spine. Oh, God.
this is not guilty. This is a pure harassment.
It's an injustice. They're coming after him for no reason at all. Just
Whoa, this guy's cool, man. He's got a toothpick in his mouth.
because he's
I
running.
was
Once
just
he's out of the
thinking the
race,
same thing.
that's it. They win. He cannot drop out no matter what.
Sunglasses.
This country is going downhill. If not for Donald Trump, this country's gone.
This is all bull. Since he went
For
into
sure.
the White House, I started with him, and they're afraid of him.
Do you think the other candidates should pledge to pardon
Right.
Trump if he's convicted?
He ain't gonna be convicted because the people has the power in the United States. I feel
What is he thinking? What does he
What?
think?
Why would he not be
what are the
convicted?
people gonna do?
like he's getting a raw deal.
He's probably the most investigated politician in the history of the United States. And they've always come up with nothing.
My favorite is when Fox News interviews all these people, and they're very different people than like any other outlet interviewing Trump supporters. You know they went there. There's not that many of them there to begin with, and they tried desperately to find the most coherent guys there, okay? It's so obvious. They were like, okay, these are like the 8 guys that we found that don't sound absolutely fucking psychotic. And even then, it's like not working really, but
focus their energy on investigating the Biden family. And it seems like the Biden family and the Democrats can pretty much do whatever they want to, and they don't get the same kind of media scrutiny.
If President Trump is reelected, should he pardon the Biden family?
Hell no, he needs to go after him.
How could you take
This is
this man
corrupt. This is a
seriously?
corrupt administration. We've never seen such a corrupt administration when we have people in the White House peddling influence for money, and we have the laptop from hell, and we have 33,000 emails that were deleted, acid washed by Hillary Clinton, and she's allowed.
wait, I
you say
found
acid
something out
wash?
recently.
Why-
I don't know
why
where
is
I
this
saw
hat
this.
so
I
high
think
up?
it was Tim Pool's dumbass that actually brought this to my attention because he doesn't know how to read. But the acid wash stuff wasn't actually real. Like they didn't actually take
Acid
like
washed.
bleach or acid to like the actual hard drives the entire time. I actually
gotta drill
thought
through
that
those
was a real
motherfuckers.
thing. Hold on, let me see if I can find Tim.
I saw him. If they wanted to destroy the hard drives, they would have drilled through them.
Pool's tweet because Tim Pool weirdly enough quote tweeted, oh here it is, Tim Pool weirdly enough quote tweeted, they tried as hard as possible to claim Trump was lying. Fact check, Trump says Clinton acid washed her email server. She did not. Okay, this is from 2016, and this entire time I thought they were like literally bleaching them. No, they were just using an app called the Bleach Bit.
Oh my god.
This is so dumb because like, look, I follow
like,
the
I'm not
news
wrong.
fairly closely, and even I got duped by this, okay? So I'm here to explain to all of you, I'm here to admit to all of you that I foolishly thought they literally were like bleaching it because Trump was straight up saying yesterday even that, you know, they use bleach. It's very difficult. It's a chemical substance. It was super expensive to use bleach, but they did it. Anyway, it does make it so much funnier to just assume that Hillary Clinton did this.
So no one knows about it because of the expense. It's like you heard of clean coal and assumed it means they use soap to clean the coal after they mine it.
And they just use like a software that deletes everything. Anyway, love that though. Love that that was like something I found out. Anyway, let's
Allowed
continue.
to walk free. No one does anything about it.
This
Biden
man.
crime family, they
Oh,
need
no,
to
he's
be,
got a
if they're
fedora.
convicted, they need to pay the price because they actually been taking money and they've been bribed.
Yeah, remember when I told you Fox News
Joe
tried to
Brandon.
go after the most sane sounding people at the rally, but they didn't have more than 5 people? This is where the interview unwinds into like mania, okay? A manifestation of mania. When you got the guy, you ran out. First 5 guys, one's a veteran, you know, you got some black conservatives, you got a Cuban conservative in there, and then boom, by like the 5th guy, you're on the fedora guy. You're on the guy with the crazy eyes wearing an American flag fedora. That's awesome. That's fucking awesome. You couldn't find more than 5 guys at the fucking Trump rally that were going to sound coherent?
It's pay for play and they have sold out America.
If Trump gets reelected, should he pardon the Biden family?
Absolutely
Freddy
not.
Cougar
Absolutely
did not help
There's
the
2 tiers
fedora.
of justice in this country right now, and it's ridiculous.
Wait,
So,
what?
Trump 2024. Let's go, baby.
Wait, so they want Donald Trump to be pardoned, but if Donald Trump actually ends up winning, he better not fucking pardon Joe Biden. He better not do that. Fucking kidding me? Absolutely not. Michelle Living Blue Texas actually found some hogalinas and hogs for us. We're back, baby. We are so fucking back. It's not even funny. Oh my lord. Politics is fun again. If I just
chocolate
look
milk.
back at like a couple weeks ago when I was like talking about the debt ceiling endlessly
favorite
and
mugs
thinking
here.
to myself, if I have to cover this
Some
one
old
more
school
time, I'm just gonna
Buffalo
fucking
architecture
die
on it.
on camera.
Get this.
All right, Hassan.
Trump is being indicted by the Biden administration with the fake Biden that was executed and is allowed to be in there, Mr. Fake Biden.
Where are your grandchildren?
Fucking believe we're an army, and we're not going to stop until Trump's sitting in that office. You know why? Because we're MAGA.
Where
if you're
is
MAGA,
this lady with
you
all
want
these
this over,
squishies and
you want
shit?
our country back.
Why is she in the toy section? What is Sassy Shannon, Fuck Joe Biden 8, doing at the toy section? What could have possibly
Fuck
made
Joe
her
Biden
this
8.
angry when she's looking at a bunch of fucking cute-ass plush toys of Shebas?
Back Trump 2024. Share, like, do whatever you can. Get this out there. And don't wear this
Shouting out
down
her
with some
social
bags of
media.
shopping. But it doesn't look like a very tough video, but it is. Share it.
Fire.
Did you know that?
Dude, this is my... Oh, dude, the fucking background, the wood panel
guitars.
background, check. The worst angle possible, check. Triple chin, check. Worst goatee you've ever seen that's like stained from beer consumption over the course of like the 52-year divorce experience that this man has had. Also check. And he is about to start off with, did you know? Because these guys always, and I mean always, act like they know better than you, okay? It's always like the dumbest guy I've ever fucking encountered coming at you with some facts. Like he's about to lay down the law. He's about to tell you some shit you never thought about with your puny libtard mind. Okay? Did you know?
Did you know that 90% of our problems in this country could be solved?
Fox News playing in the
Old car,
background.
dude.
Another check. Oh, this hits the bingo.
If we went back to public hangings.
That's awesome.
Good morning, Tic Tac. 8:52 Eastern. We need to come together again. And I'm talking about Floridians. You guys are close, and we need to keep things.
This man is he's in an RV, right? Is that like is he living in a school bus? Is he living inside of a school bus? Oh my God.
That are close because we can't be traveling long.
What's up with this like colorblind US flag? What's that about? Is that like a thing? No, that's not an RV, chat. That looks like a school bus. Unless it's like an old ass RV. Because I've never seen that on the top of an RV. It's a sovereign citizen flag. Let's go.
Distances right now.
Sovereign citizen.
We have got to protect the commander in chief.
Like a school bus. Yeah, it probably is.
The commander and chief. I didn't even spell it right, but it's funny because the commander and chief. Oh, I love that.
When this comes together Tuesday, I pray that every man and woman who appreciates the efforts that are taking place to save us comes together and makes sure that everyone around that president understands that if they make a move, we will take them down. New York was a rouse. Okay, you saw how he showed up. This is also, but we are the only thing standing between the man that is catching all the flack.
Bro, he's too zooted to fucking follow a train of thought. The
Zooted.
ideas that are in his mind are
Too many
perish, they
Coronas, dog.
evaporate before they leave.
He's definitely
his
not
mouth,
having Bud
dude.
Lights.
So I just got a short message for
Dude, I love these guys because they always fucking post, like, they get themselves worked up, they put their fucking phone camera down, and they're just like, the first 3 to 4 seconds always is just like, like just posturing, you know what I mean? He's like, I'm so mad. I don't want to make this video right now. Listen, I'm trying to get me some Deborah pussy. I'm trying to get me some Brenda
you went
pussy.
there
This
right
is
away.
literally the same as when you're in heat. Like when an animal is in heat and it's like signaling to every fucking stallion in a mile radius that you're ready for fucking. Okay? That's what he's doing here. He's like, this is a Brenda alarm. Do you understand? If you're out there, Deborah's, let me tell you something, okay? I'm ready, I'm willing, I'll be your fucking stallion. I'm feral, baby.
I'm feral, baby.
all these mentally ill fucks.
Of course.
The more you attack
Florida.
him, the more you attack him. The more you attack him. Y'all are just making him look better. Keep up the good work, fuckers.
Oh.
Scroll.
The harder it is to see, the better the contents of the video will be. You know what I mean?
Liberals, fuck off.
Darker the better.
Liberals, fuck off. Scroll. I love that, dude. Liberals,
Trench war.
you better. I'm about to say some stuff that you're not gonna be able to handle. Okay, this is for the Debras out there.
I'll tell you what's wrong with this world right now. No one drinks from the skulls of their enemies anymore.
What? Hell yeah, brother. He's so right about that.
So you know this whole thing with Trump. There we go.
Whole thing
and the
with
amazing
Trump.
part about all of
getting
this
arrested.
is all he would have to do is quit. Go back to living his life, not run for president, just...
Nope. He would absolutely be in jail. A big part of why he's running is because he doesn't want to go to jail.
stop. And it would all go away tomorrow.
No.
We all know it. He knows it. But he chooses not to. He continues to fight and stand in their way and stand in their face as he gets pummeled with case after case after case. And regardless whether you like Trump or not, and regardless that he's not a perfect man, you still can't see.
This is the Debra side of it. This is the guy that's looking for some Kyle dick.
I ain't the smartest dude in the world, but at least I didn't vote for fucking Joe Biden. So who did that? Why did y'all do that? Like, I'm trying to see something. Did any of y'all really vote for him, or did anybody actually vote for him? Because I don't... How are you that dumb?
He's right.
It all boils down to this. There's a tree of life and there's a tree of death. What side are you on? Right now, what side are you on? Life or death? It's that simple. Life is everlasting if you accept it. The grace that was given by our Lord and Savior, paid for by His blood. Right, Bandit?
Right, Bandit?
It's really a choice to follow the path into darkness.
Bro, get a fucking windsock, homie. What the hell is going on? You set this
Need a
whole
dead
thing
cat,
up. You
dog.
wanted your horse to be in it. Like, if you're gonna go the distance, go the fucking distance. This production quality is off the fucking rails, dude.
On one hand, we've seen...
We're out here on my ranch with all the wind in North America right here. Biden Bandit, someone said. The fuck is a windsock, brother?
Over the last 3 years, these kill shots that have been linked to multiple deaths, linked to corporate greed, including the hospital remdesivir, using remdesivir. We've seen crashing financial markets. The system is crashing. Banks are getting bailed out. Yeah, he says yeah. Let's get some common sense going. Safe patient-led medicine, right? I'm a doctor. I used to be.
What? Yo.
What? Dropping that in the middle.
Anything that the corporate privateers are putting out there, anything they touch their hand to, because our parallel system
I used to be.
will supersede all that. Because
What? We're not talking about that.
Honey,
Bless you.
we got to ride out the storm. We got to ride out this storm in love. John 15:13, greater love hath no man, and he laid down his life.
I'm coming for you. The Board of Pediatric Medicine in Arkansas, I'm coming for you first. I know all of you sold out to the devil when you told me I wasn't able to touch the children that were in my practice, and that was my God-given right. Do you understand? I'm coming for you first, you Nazis.
We're just turning on our
Don't be
diffuser
scared. We
over
don't
there.
live in a spirit of fear.
That's why I used to be a doctor. I'm no what? No, 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 no. Yes, 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 yes.
Hey, Democrats, wait until you fucking find out who the pipe bomber was.
Dude, he's laying the pipe in the bathroom right now, dude. Oh my God, he's shitting. This is new. This is unique. This is actually disruptive.
Well, it's not new. It's on. They're all. It's like
That's
half of them are
awesome.
taking shits while
That's
they're posting,
fire.
dude.
Oh no.
If you didn't know.
Oh, that's fucking sick. Wait, where's the toilet paper? Oh my God, he doesn't have toilet paper. Oh my God. My man, you got another thing coming for you. You're not even aware of what's about to happen to you. Holy shit.
On January 6th.
This one is a meme, I think. He's probably joking.
One thing I can tell you, wasn't a Republican. You'll find out soon.
I don't know,
doing to
Patriot
Trump,
Chris.
The political opponent, is absolute bullshit.
This guy's so sexy. Dude, look at them cool ass glasses. You can see his fucking truck in the background. I love it.
And America is fucking doomed. because all you stupid ass fucking Democrats in office, y'all have ruined.
When I see motherfuckers like this, I'm like, how did COVID not take this man? Like, how did he survive COVID? Because you know his ass did not get vaccinated, okay? You know he was hopped up on ivermectin. There are at least 4 dudes that look exactly like him that live in the same 100-mile radius, which is the closest neighbors he has, that died from COVID, okay?
In this country, and you continue to ruin it. And if anybody has anything bad to say about this post, just fucking delete me, all right? I am 100% for Donald Trump, all right? I think the man is doing a wonderful thing, and he has really thick skin. This guy could be on an island sucking in margaritas and living the life.
This one's awesome. This narrative is fucking hilarious. They're like, yeah, Trump is doing it for us. It's like, honestly, no, he wouldn't. He would absolutely. He knows if he's president, at least he can like pardon himself, okay? If he's not president, he can't pardon himself. So I think that's definitely the main motivator for him to run again.
But he's trying to fucking make America great. I mean, I do believe it. Things were in the right direction when he was in office. But this asshole Biden, I mean, why isn't Hunter Biden in fucking jail? I mean,
Hunter
why
Biden's
is James
penis,
Comey
man.
free? Why is Hillary free? It's all bullshit, guys. Makes me not want to pay any fucking taxes ever again and just move.
Yeah, like as though you liked paying taxes before, dude. Come on.
Out of this fucking country.
Oh my God, he's doing the libtard thing where he's like, oh yeah, sheriffs. So another thing that I absolutely love are sheriffs, okay? Sheriffs are above the law, as you know. It's posse comitatus gives me the law. Under Article 17, posse comitatus law tells me as the sheriff that I can actually arrest the president of the United States of America at any given time. The only thing holding me back is my lovely wife, Brenda. I know she left me, but let me tell you, I am the law, and by law, you have to come back to me. In the state of Arizona Sovereign Citizens Court, there is no such thing as a no-fault divorce.
You got her, man.
Brenda, you are now under arrest.
Hey folks, Sheriff Lamb here. So, I'm a pretty plain-spoken, common-sense guy, and I believe in the rule of law, and I believe in the
Give
justice
this guy a
system,
fucking
and I believe
theme
in
song.
evidence. That's what my career has been based on. So I'm a little bit disturbed by this most recent indictment of President Trump. It just, again...
Oh my God, he has a whoop too. Or is that an Apple Watch?
Shows why us Americans feel like that the federal government and...
He's got a toothpick in his one hand, and I don't see no ring on the other goddamn finger, okay?
Especially law enforcement at the federal level has been weaponized against the American people. And this should be concerning to all of us. Look, folks, if they're willing to go after President Trump, a former president, somebody running for office right now, what do you think they'll do to you when they get you in their crosshairs and make you a target?
Brother, you're a sheriff. You literally put people in the crosshairs on a regular basis. And also, what will they do? What will you and your fucking goons do? The hilarious point is, Donald Trump is not under investigation for some shit that like a normal person would do. Donald Trump is under investigation for mishandling classified documents and refusing to give them back to the authorities after they made like a million different attempts to retrieve them in a peaceful manner. What normal average American is going to be under those circumstances? That's not a thing. The only other person that actually has the capacity to be prosecuted under the law under similar circumstances is a person you have probably called for the arrest of, Hillary motherfucking Clinton or Joseph Robinette Biden. So if you're on the one hand saying like, oh, Joe Biden needs to go to jail for mishandling classified documents, you can't fucking on the other hand say Donald Trump shouldn't.
We've got to come together as we the people and stand up and get back to the rule of law and justice for all, like the Pledge of Allegiance says, liberty and justice for all. Let's stand up. Let's stand together. God bless everybody.
All I got to say, you guys, if they try to lock up Donald Trump, they're going to have millions of people standing in front of the fucking White House.
Yeah, what happened last time? Y'all got together and did that, you know? Some people went to jail, and you've been crying about that ever since.
Y'all stand with me?
Best line from the real Donald Trump's recent speech: "This is the final battle. With you at my side, we will demolish the deep state." Tim Kramer, saddle up.
Oh my God.
Like, this is why I always say this kind of shit, like, these guys would literally be infinitely healthier if they just took like an acting class or like a theater class or something in the arts when they were in high school. Like, their entire worldview would be different if they were able to just like express themselves in the artistic wants and needs that they had. See, he said so much with so little. I'm already super sold on it. This looks incredible. Those guys were soft. I thought they were gonna be sick. What the f is that?
Look out! Pog! Sex? Pog! Wait, I'm maneuvering this thing? That's me, I'm controlling it! What the hell? What the hell?
Oh, there's a pumper. This game has it all.
You're safe.
You know, all this talk about
we are getting killed on trade. You know, they'll make cars and they'll say.
Okay, so this video is called Made in Mexico by Hoser. Let's do it.
Sell them to the United States, no tax, no nothing.
Mexico's not happy with me because I talk about the trade deals all the time.
A tariff or whatever you call it, and believe me, China's doing it to us.
I'll take them back from China, from Japan, from Mexico.
I will get Mexico.
I'm especially excited to play this guitar while I watch it because this guitar is made in Mexico and it's extremely fantastic.
To pay because, frankly, they are taking so much money out of the United States hide. They are taking.
I mean, I love China. How can you not love China?
Makes you really think these Mexico and China places are taking American manufacturing jobs right out of their hands. Well, American businessmen have often pushed for free trade to set up factories in cheaper worldwide locations.
Also Canadian. This guy sounds Canadian. His name's Hoser.
China flooded the world market with cheap labor, cheap work conditions, cheap transportation, cheap exchange rates, and hundreds of millions of workers to become the factory of the world where it seems like everything is manufactured. Made in China became a household name. But what about Mexico? There's a lot of talk about them also stealing American jobs, but no one wants to seem to talk about Mexican development. So let's talk about Mexico. How are they doing? Well, not bad at all, but not great. Mexico is a developing upper middle income country, is one of the top economies by total value made, and has risen in per capita output by 10 times in the last 50 years, but has had an underwhelming rate of growth for the past few decades, some estimates averaging only around 1% per year. There are a bunch of structural reasons for this slow growth, going down to the bone of Mexico. The 70s and 80s were very tough times for many Mexicans, between oil shocks both being affected by the 1973 oil crisis when the Arab countries stopped selling oil to the Americans, giving them rapid inflation and spreading it to Mexico, then the price of oil dropping after they recently became a petro exporter in the late 70s, and then again in 1986, defaulting on its $80 billion debt in 1982, getting hit with the worst earthquake in Mexican history in 1985, and then the tequila crisis of 1994, not when everyone turned into an alcoholic, but when the government almost ran out of US dollars, which a lot of their debt was owed in, having to drop the fixed conversion rate between the peso and US dollar, which caused the peso to crash to half its value, almost defaulting on its debt again. Mexico had to be bailed out by the US with a $50 billion loan and gave them some of their oil reserves in exchange. So, yeah, it wasn't the best time for the Mexican economy, and that's not even including the assassinations, kidnappings, and violence during this instability. It earned the mid-80s to mid-90s the name the Lost Decade, because where did that whole decade go? And looking at the growth ever since, Mexico has not had their counterpart to the Lost Decade, the posh decade, let's call it. But all that lost stuff is in the past, right? Yes and no. While joining the newly made North American Free Trade Gang, NAFTA has helped them massively grow their output, factories, and trade, the same issues of corruption, inequality, red tape, and violence keep holding them back. Let's go through them quickly. Corruption. Mexico has had a long, complicated history of corruption dating back to Mesoamerican empires taking tribute from smaller cities, usually in the form of forced labor for a small priest and elite class. The Spanish continued that forced labor legacy with the encomienda and repartimiento systems, basically just slavery found especially in Spanish-owned silver mines, a history of various dictators, coups, and wars, and many times political connections choosing who will get rich. For example, who runs the not corrupt at all state-owned oil company Pemex, and the richest man on earth from 2010 to 2013, Carlos Slim, with his political connections being seen as one of the reasons he got so rich, buying up the government-owned telephone monopoly Telmex when they got rid of it, snowballing his wealth from there. Inequality. From corruption, this lack of growth, and very poor social mobility, Mexico is a fairly unequal economy, with the top 10% of earners getting 60% of the pie. One of the biggest reasons for this is because their economy is split. They have the formal economy and the informal economy. Formal goes through the usual bureaucratic processes, pays their taxes, gets their permits, is regulated by laws, and gets benefits for it. And informal firms, they just set up and sell, all under the table. In rich countries, the informal economy makes up a pretty small portion of jobs since it's so hard to hold accountable. But in Mexico, about 60% of workers are in the informal economy, but it only makes up around 25% of GDP. Why do they choose to stay informal? Because of red tape. Formal businesses just have to go through more hoops for not that much to gain. Not only will taxes take an average of 240 hours a year in the formal sector, they would jump from around 2% of income to 30% of income if you start making a fuss that you're a real business. What do they get in exchange for that jump? Health insurance, which is just as good as the healthcare you can get for free, a pension but only after 15 years of work, lowered from 25, decent but lackluster infrastructure, especially in the poorer south, the lowest spending per student in the OECD, and Mexico is the only country in the OECD that lacks public unemployment benefits. If you're fired, there's no help for you, so why even bother paying your taxes? It's estimated that 60% of Mexicans do not pay the required amount in taxes. When you live in a country that doesn't encourage you to grow your business, why not just keep it low-key? But how can they provide more services if no one pays their taxes? Chicken and egg situation, I guess. So over 70% of Mexican employment is in what the OECD calls small, medium, and micro firms. These are generally low productivity businesses, maybe with a couple of employees, totaling only 37% of value added in Mexico, often being outcompeted by much larger firms, just adding to the inequality problem. But there's another reason you also might want to stay informal: violence. Mexico has a problem with organized crime rings. You may have heard of armed drug trafficking cartels thriving in the nation, either hiding from or bullying local politicians so that they can set up business. Oftentimes, formal business will attract too much attention from these cartels and will end up having to pay more for extortion charges. Even cartels have taxes? Can you believe that? Organized crime also kills thousands of Mexicans every year, with about 150,000 estimated deaths. Some put that closer to 400,000 since the government declared war on drug cartels in 2006, one of the bloodiest wars of the 21st century. Even hundreds of candidates and politicians have been killed by the cartels in recent years. So drug cartels running large parts of your country isn't the best thing for development. Scenes of fully armed military men patrolling ordinary streets or the Navy guarding beach resorts are not uncommon, and unfortunately it has also meant the Mexican homicide rate has tripled since 2006, but is also spread out unevenly between the states, with Colima, Chihuahua, Guanajuato, and Baja California having the highest number of killings. Each would actually be the world's leading country by homicide rate if they were independent. So from decentralized gangs threatening ordinary people, causing doubt over the stability of the nation, a government that punishes some from doing well, stomping upwards mobility, and the memory of the lost decades still in the minds of many, Mexico has been said to have a fear of growth holding it back from its full potential, not from the outside, but from the inside. But they may have a golden opportunity to turn the country around if they are open to it, by making stuff. But before we move on, let me tell you about today's sponsor, Speakly. If you're going to be working across the US-Mexico border, it would make sense to learn Spanish if you're an American and English if you're a Mexican. It would just make your work a whole lot easier, and Speakly designed by 2 polyglots will help you learn a language 5 times faster than taking a usual class. Just 30 minutes a day for a few months and you'll walk over the border and say,
23 minutes left till we're at an
it's
hour.
just the best language learning experience that's out there, yo. Plus, with my link in the description or comments, you can try Speakly for 7 days free and get a 60% discount when signing up annually. That's this link. Get up there and go learn some languages. Ve a aprender algunos idiomas. See, I'm still learning Spanish with it. So thank you to Speakly for sponsoring today's video. Make stuff now, bring services later. That might be the new Mexican strategy. Huh? Okay, that's a total oversimplification. They will always need goods and always need services at the same time. But over the next few decades, it seems like they will have a particular advantage in creating goods and shipping them overseas. Why? To answer that, let's spin the globe and go to East Asia, more specifically to China. China has a stereotype. No, don't think of anything racist. A stereotype of being the factory of the world. Except the stereotype is totally true. China is the world's largest exporter of goods, making up over 10% of all global exports, and is the world's largest manufacturer, with around 28% of the globe's total value welded, soldered, and chemically mixed together inside of China. The bulk of their exports are manufactured goods, electronics, medicine, metal products, cement, and everything at Walmart. They essentially did this by opening up to world trade since the 1990s, most importantly in December 2001 when China joined the World Trade Organization and was pressured by members of the WTO to significantly reduce their tariffs and taxes on goods and allowed more businessmen to buy into the highly regulated market. Tens of millions of low-wage, low-regulation manufacturers were able to flood the world market with Chinese-made goods, along with the yuan being artificially kept almost valueless, made these goods very, very cheap to the rest of the world, who often substituted their own factories and production with this nearly magical Chinese alternative. It was a bold strategy for sure. Keep everything cheap in China and make as many things as possible. Let's fast forward to see if that paid off for them. Oh, would you look at that? The Chinese are rich now, and because of that, there are 3 trends that show China might not hold on to that factory status for long. 1. China is rich. Okay, I get it. China is not as rich as many Western countries and has a substantial amount of wealth inequality, but through their development since the 1990s, a large Chinese middle class has been formed who live at a much higher standard of living than even a couple decades ago, needing more resources to live with and thus needing a higher wage. It makes sense a richer country has more expensive workers. They have a bougier lifestyle. In 2000, Mexican labor was nearly 3 times more expensive than Chinese labor, but now Chinese labor is more expensive by 35%. That's a great thing. It means China has developed and hundreds of millions of people in China are living better lives with more education and higher skilled jobs. It's just that factory work usually isn't considered high skill. Number 2, China is aging. 2022 was the first year where the Chinese government officially announced that there were more deaths than births in China, but analysts have been saying China has been shrinking since the 2010s. This is from a mix of the government-mandated one-child policy from 1979 to 2016 and the cost of raising a child being too expensive in urban and cramped Chinese megacities. The birth rate has crashed, which means people are getting older with less and less younglings to replace them, and typically the older the person, the more educated and highly skilled they are, needing to be compensated for that human capital. Of course, China will still have hundreds of millions of people even after it shrinks. There will always be large manufacturing centers in China, but it will absolutely get more expensive to keep them there, especially as they invest more in sectors like healthcare, education, real estate, and IT, all for domestic consumption as more major parts of their economy rather than just manufacturing for export. And thirdly, probably most important, China and the USA haven't been the best of friends recently. The trade wars in the late 2010s really started to sour the US-China economic relationship, but after that pandemic, there is no hope of recovery for it. Swamped by extra long shipping times from global supply chain issues and full lockdown in China, business people started losing confidence that their Chinese factories were the great investments they once were. Except if you're LeBron James, he still has confidence. Major American companies like General Motors, Intel, and US Steel have been announcing that they're packing up, shutting down factories in China, and heading back to the US. In fact, since 2021, 4 in 5 US corporations have started shifting some production back to the USA, and it has been the American government's policy since the early 2010s to try and reshore manufacturing with incentives like the Infrastructure Bill, the CHIPS and Science Act, and the Inflation Reduction Act. Americans just aren't as confident in the global supply chain as they used to be. So who cares about China's manufacturing and how expensive it is? Well, for one, the USA, and for two, the nation this video was actually about. If there is a major pullback of US investment from China from rising costs and political tensions, then they have two options: start making things inside of the USA or find another cheap country to invest in. And dang it, wouldn't luck have it that there's a country south of the border with plenty of cheap labor and they happen to have a free trade deal with. Mexico right now has a labor force of about 60 million people, and here's the bonus. Unlike China and the US with a median age pushing 40 years old, the median Mexican is less than 30 years old. They're young, and as of right now, relatively low wage. Remember, most Mexicans work in the informal economy, usually for very small firms that can't afford great compensation, and bring with them very low social mobility and a lack of good social programs. So around half of all Mexicans do not have a high school degree, although that number is falling, so progress is being made to a more open Mexico. An injection of good manufacturing jobs into the economy could be a very great thing if managed correctly. Of course, this injection would be almost entirely by the United States. Over 75% of Mexican exports, Mexports, go to the US, along with over half of their imports coming from the States. The US is the leading foreign investor in Mexico, and they happen to share over 3,000 kilometers of border with 5 cross-country railways and 50 vehicle crossings. So it makes sense for the US to invest more into Mexico, huh? Since NAFTA, foreign investment into Mexico has tripled. Since 2009, manufacturing has risen from 15% of GDP to over 18% in 2021, while total manufacturing increased by $100 billion. And they're already a huge exporter of manufactured goods like vehicles, electronics, and chemicals. Mexico is at the right place and right time to potentially have a China-style.
Check everything out in the description down below. Be sure, if you like this, to subscribe to the channel and hit that bell icon so you can be notified every day when we go live, so you can know what time it is, and hit up your phone, your tablet, your computer, or your television, wherever you watch us live, and hang out with us. Remember, you don't have to bring your guitar, but you can if you want to. We're hanging out, we're watching videos, we're playing guitar, we're having a good time. Have a good night.